Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Fuzzy from Fuzzy Ghost Models back with another What's in the Effin' Box review. And this time we're going to have a look at this kit here. It's the Border Models 1/35th scale Spitfire Mark 5B. Alright. I got it for a very, very good price. Super cheap. So that's the reason why I have it. Want to look at it to see if it's a viable Spitfire. I love Spitfires, and I don't mean from an accuracy perspective, but I mean from building it up in your collection. We'll have a look at what the parts are inside, look at the quality of the parts, look at the instructions and all that good stuff, and then we're going to have a little side-by-side comparison to a 32nd scale Spit and see what those differences are, because 35 and 32 I've heard before, they're almost the same, you're not going to see the difference and blah blah blah. So let's have a look. So anyway, let's have a look at what's in the box. All right, so very nice artwork, nicely done. One side of the box here has some CAD drawings, it looks like, and then the other side has the markings that come in the box. All right, so we'll open her up. Just like that, and you can see the box is pretty full. Some nice sprues, so let's have a look, see what we got first up. And of course I dropped something, hold on. All right, I'm back. All right, so first sprue, zoom in a little bit. First sprue we have, we'll open it up. First sprue is the Fuselage halves, and you can see it does, box did say with interior details, so this one does include an engine. Right here you can see it's got the engine framing built into the fuselage molds. Oil coolers and whatnot are on here, upper cowl, lower cowl. Let's zoom in and have a closer look and we can see what they look like. All right, so there's the starboard side fuselage. You can see most of it is engraved rivets all the way through. And on the top though, here, you can see the lap joint where the panels actually come over, and you can see it's sort of in between a raised and a recessed rivet. These ones here are all raised on top of this here. Then we go to the front, and you can see the framing for the engine. See some of the other little greebly bits. This looks like part of the wing root where the gun camera would be, and the elevators, tires, nice, it's got Dunlop on it, and flaps, nicely detailed. Wheel hubs look good, a little funky little flash there, that's okay. The coolers, this has raised rivets here, engraved rivets here. I don't know what's accurate or not. And we have some more elevator pieces here. You can see the trim tab though. The actual trim actuator is there, but the tab itself is missing, which is kind of like a oops. And that's on both sides. All right. The other wheels. And this is the port side, and that's canopy or engine framing, and you can see similar detail on this side. This is raised for some reason. I'm not sure why that's raised. Not sure if it is on the real one or not. We'll have to have a look. I have to check my references. And again, the top here is on these lap parts are raised, these rivets. Everything else here is engraved. And then this is a combination between the two, just like the other We'll give it a quick flip to see what's on the inside. And you can see the inside here. This you're not going to see, this ejector pin mark. Probably not going to see this one either, but it probably need to be sanded down so the parts fit properly. Same here, this has got to go. Right? We look at how the engine framing is super heavy. Alright, we'll go to the other side. Camera port or service port is open, which is nice touch. And again, got these marks which probably should be sanded down just to make sure the parts fit properly. And again, the framing for the engine, very heavy. All right, so that's one sprue. I'll put that aside because we're going to use that later for comparison. And there's this sprue here, which is some external parts, some Ordnance. Okay, so we've got some of the 303s, some ammunition belts, rudder pedals, oxygen, greeblies, a bomb, some other greeblies. Flip it over, see if there's anything on the other side to look. No, not really. Some of the stuff for the cockpit is there too. All right, that's kind of a little bit meh for me. So next sprue is a big one, and it's the wings sprue. So upper and lower wings, and looks like engine decal sides as well. So we'll have a look at this. All right, the detail looks really, really nice. Really nice. All right, we'll zoom in and we'll get some close-ups of this. All right, so this is the lower wing, and this is a B wing. So it's got the 20 mil as well as the two 303s in it. All right, so you can see they have chosen to leave all of these rivets in place, as opposed to Kotare, which have this smooth because they were puttied over. I don't know about the accuracy of the lines. I'd have to check some drawings out. Detail looks really good. This has raised rivets for some reason, this panel. This is, I'm not sure why that's raised, if they're supposed to be. Access panel there. There's the bulge for the cannon. Some more raised rivets on this side. All right, we get to the center section. These access panels are all raised. They're not engraved at all, so I'm not sure that's solely accurate either. And then across here, all these access points are like you would expect. And again, the port side of the wing, lower wing, would have been puttied over initially, and then the bays for the guns are just a hair raised as well, with the screw access being recessed. And this whole part is recessed. I don't know if this is a normal thing. I haven't seen these in this kind of configuration before. Doesn't mean it's not accurate. I just haven't noticed anything like this before. These ribs being, was it like that on the other side? Yeah, it was. So these being raised, and I am zoomed in really, really heavy, so they look heavier than they are, because if I zoom out, I mean, it's still a beautiful looking lower wing. Then let's have a look. We'll look at the cowl the sides of the cowls. So it's got the fasteners there. Looks like it's got the flathead portion of the fasteners, access port, and then here again the same on the other side, on the starboard side. And then here's the ailerons. Then we go down to the upper wing, upper port wing, and you can see how this here is raised. Got another raised panel here. I don't know about that. And this thing is raised. Got this wheel bulge here, and then some of the cutouts for the Canon and the 303s. This and the top of the wing here looks suspicious to me, that it's like this. It looks a little too geometrically perfect for the rivet pattern, but I'd have to check my references again. And again, this on the Kotare kit is just blank because it had been puttied over to make reduce drag. And you can see there's some stepping here as well for the wingtip, and then pretty standard stuff. These are some of the covers for the machine guns and cannon. They look really nice. I'll flip it over. These are rather thick, so if you're gonna use them, they would have to be sanded down pretty heavily. So the inside, there's the inside of the wheel well. We'll go to the other side. It's the same again. A little flick of plastic. And then for the inside of the lower wing, you can see these are the spots for the 303s and the ammunition belts. The cannon will go on here. And it's pretty standard stuff. It almost looks like when they took this out of the mold, they had somebody sand all of these down. That's what it looks like to me. Or, yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Because I don't think you'd be sanding, yeah. Yeah, it looks a little strange, but that's what it is. So I'll zoom out on that. And we'll go to the next sprue. It's a smaller sprue. It's got some small pieces on it. All right. And you can focus anytime, camera. Come on. Let's see if we can get it to focus. All right. Lots of little greeblies on this one. Control column. Not sure if those are big enough to be the wheel. No, those are the struts. Those are the struts for the wheels. Not sure. Maybe. Some other things. Intake. That's pretty cool. It's molded all the way through, which is really cool. I'm not sure if these look to me the same as the flap actuators, the pieces in the Tamiya Mark 9, Mark 8, 32nd scale. These were in photo-etch in that, but they're exactly the same shape. So I don't know if that's part of it. We'll have a look at the instructions to make sure I'm not talking out me butt. There's the compass. Pretty standard stuff. Okay, I'll put that aside. And there's another bag. Similar size. And this one here has the IP on it. Door. So this looks like inside the fuselage. Oil tank. Sidewalls for the cockpit. Here's the seat. Actually, we'll stay on this side for now. Some 303s. Bulkhead looks pretty solid. I don't know if it's should be that solid. Then there's another bulkhead, some other stuff, some of the controls for the floor, 303s. Yeah. Some other bits. So we'll flip this over, and you can see there's the crowbar for the door, and I'll zoom in a little bit here. Get in there, and you can see, isn't that nice? Nice little ejector pin marks, 4 of them on that friggin' thing. I don't get it. There's more here. I'm not sure what these are, but if those are going to be visible, then you got more ejector pin marks to clean up. What else can we look at? There's the seat. Again, with a nice ejector pin mark in the middle of it. And these are the seat sides right here. You're probably gonna have to sand these too. Make sure the part fits okay. And again, there's the inside of one of the coolers, and it's like somebody has hand sanded this already. Like, did they have that much of a problem at the factory and then they decided, I'm gonna get somebody to sand that off? What a horrible job that would be. Here's some of the landing gear. They look nice and sturdy. Right, there's the back side of the seat goes on the front of this. This is the back side. So probably nothing here is going to be visible. And that's that for that sprue. So that's kind of worrisome. Some of the ejector pin marks are not ideally located. And then the last gray sprue. All right. The last gray sprue. All right, so this looks like some plumbing for the engine. This has got to be the exhaust. So yeah, the exhausts are hollowed out on this side. So that's kind of cool. That's a cool way of doing it. Slide molded. There's some of the engine block, engine mount. So I don't know if you want the engine mount on, if you cut the other mounts off, maybe that's why they're so thick on the fuselage parts. We'll have a look. Some more engine block, oil pan, and some of the other piping. There's the nose cover, some of the other stuff, individual prop blades. If I flip it over, I don't know if there's anything really to see over here, except we'll have a look at so there's the exhausts that come out of the manifold, and I guess so those will go on here. That's kind of an innovative way to mold that up. Interesting. All right. Okay, so that's the last of the gray. Let's have a look at clear. This one can be reopened, so we'll reseal. All right, so we'll have a look at this. Get right in. So there it is there, and you can see we've got some scuffing marks on the top of that from transportation. Not sure what that is. What's that there? Looks like there's some bubbles or something inside the clear on that. I don't know what that is besides a bubble. Yeah, it's right inside the plastic. So got some annoying bubbles. That's not going to look too good. And it doesn't look like the clear is really that great. Not sure why this is clear. Alright. A little bit of a disappointment in the clear parts. I'm not gonna lie. There is a photo etch set. It's got the belts, armor plate, and I think these go in the wheel well. And I'm not sure about all these other little things. But we'll have a look. We'll have a look at the markings after we have a look at the destructions. So there we are. And I do love the artwork. The artwork is really nice. Well done. And we open it up. Oh, and just water, that's one word. Supermarine is one word. Future note. So it gives you a little Mark V history and some other Mark Vs, some decent photographs. That's pretty cool. Got your parts tree layout. And then we get into the kit, building the kit, and this one starts off with the engine. Pretty standard fare. I don't know if any of you built the Tamiya 32nd scale Spit. The engine is really, really nice, falls together. So then from there we move on to the cockpit, the seat, putting the seat belts in. Once that's done, that's just the panel on the floor. Where am I guess. Okay, we're gonna wait on that because the cockpit panel was pretty deep, so I don't know if there's any decals for that. So we'll get to the end to see if there's anything there. And then there's adding the weapons, the 303s and the 20 mils. And then here, the ammunition. And finishing up with the rest of it. So then, okay, so here's the ailerons. And it is a very similar thing to the Tamiya. There's, okay, so that's actually 3 pieces, not 1. So yeah, those plastic pieces that I mentioned earlier are for the exact same engineering. They're almost exactly the same as the Tamiya kit. And the flaps are also actuated in the same way. There's the covers, top of the wings. Right, so that all comes down. But the wings now are together. Let's make sure I didn't miss a page. Hold on. Let me back up. Yep, okay, we're good. Okay, let's go back here. Let's go back. So here, it's telling me to put all these photo etch bits. It's all the clamps and stuff for the actual cowling. So that would be these things on the inside of that really thick cowling. All right. So here, so we're adding the sidewalls here. They're there. Oil tank goes in. The rudder is the same kind of thing with, I guess you make it movable. It doesn't say not to glue it, but I guess you don't glue it if that works. And then the tail wheel, and then we start to bring it all together. So tail wheel assembly, cockpit's already in, firewall from the engine, and the rudder. They all go in together. And then the elevators with the missing trim tabs. I think the rudder's missing a trim tab too. Yeah, so all that little bits come together for lights, and then the door for back here for the radio. And this is having the Cockpit door up, closed. Exhausts, clear parts go on. Okay, so that was clear. That's the armored glass. That makes sense. Although it can be fun to glue the armored glass onto the other glass without making a disaster of a mess, which I've been known to do time to time. So they got the cooler, the large cooler, radiator for the engine, and then some of the other greeblies. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. I can't remember seeing these big blocks underneath the Hispano. I don't know if that's part of a chute system for cartridges, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to check that out. Or is it E? Or is it? Are they lights? Hang on, I gotta go back. They're E parts. So is E clear? No. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't understand then. So options for bombs, put on it. And there's the rest of the little things that go underneath. Now they're having you put those, I don't like this. These photo etch pieces, these go inside the wheel, the main round wheel portion. Have fun with getting that all lined up, and then those ones go in there because they took the lazy way out and molded it all at once. All right, oil cooler, wheels, getting the wheels mounted, or you can have them raised. There's options. And you go here, and propeller hub and assembly, and then the top of the cowl. So did I miss where they put the cowl sides on? Cowl sides. Where are the cowl sides? The cowl sides, magic. Oh, there we are. There we are. Put those on. All right. Okay. So then that's it. Put that on top. I guess you can leave it unglued so you can remove it to see the engine. And then the markings, this kit only comes with one marking, and it's this one, and it's apparently Flight Lieutenant John Gibson's Spitfire B, Royal Australian Air Force 457 Squadron. Okay, so here is the decal map for the instrument panel, and then there's markings for the access door, which you're not going to see anyway because your only option is to close it up. Now I'd be interested to see if you can have it open, slide that back, and it fits okay. I would hope so, and that's it for that. All right, we'll have a quick look at the decals, and then I'm going to have a look at a little side-by-side. Okay. Oh boy, are those ever blue. Yikes. Yeah, okay, so can't use those. You see the red bleeding through the red is bleeding through the blue. That's terrible. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a negative Nelly or a Debbie Downer, but this day and age, this should not happen. I expect this from a 1970s kit or something that's limited run. Border, you know better. Anyway, the rest of the decals, I'm gonna zoom in and see what kind of resolution they have. Okay. All right, so it's good. You're nice and legible. All right. This line, Those are okay. Donald Duck. Little off register. Got the red covers for the machine guns. Yeah, okay. And you can kind of see at the edge where the white stops for the yellow. Now, these decals are definitely very meh. If you don't have any other choices, I guess you're stuck with them. They have a flat sheen to them as well. Not a fan of that because when the paints I use are generally come out semi-gloss when I'm painting, and then I'll add a satin finish to it afterwards. So if I'm glossing it down, if I'm using a gloss surface and then I'm putting flat decals on it, I don't know, might not be that great. Anyway, these decals are very, actually, I want to see one more thing. Let's look at the instruments, see if they're even worth it. Yeah, they're off registration. You can see it's not in the center of the dial face. They're pretty crappy. This is 35th scale, okay? Not 32nd, but 35th. All right. So I'm gonna put those aside. You're gonna need a new set of these if you want to build something up. It's 35th scale, so good luck. I don't know what's out there for 35th. And there'll be some people going, oh, it's 35th. It's almost the same as 32nd. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. All right, here's the Border Models wing sprue. And we'll pull out this is the Kotare Mk Ia. Pull out their sprue. First off, this plastic is much harder than this. This is pretty soft stuff. So I'm gonna zoom out. We'll do a little side by each. So if I put the Kotare wing on top, it completely obscures the border wing, or if I put that on top, I line up, you can see it's a massive difference between 35th and 32. And I'm assuming that both of these companies have their dimensions correct. But again, this is what you have. It's not like you can magically shrink or expand these plastic parts when you're building them. And yeah, so we can check out the top of the wings as well. Let's do this. Give you an idea of the size difference. Okay, try and find that corner right there. All right, so there's the difference in the size between them. Okay, big difference. So if you go to put 32nd scale decals on this 35th scale kit, you're gonna have a huge difference. Look at the difference. All right, so let's look at fuselage difference in size. All right. Okay, again, this is the Kotare in the darker gray, Mk Ia. And let's not look at the detail, we're just looking at the size difference. So let's do the one with the door, because that'll be the one. That'll give us a good idea of the size difference. All right, and don't forget the Kotare one, the top of the fuselage is a separate piece, so you don't destroy any of that detail when you're assembling it. And so we get the canopy rails. So look at the length difference. It's very considerable. There's no getting around it that there's a huge difference between 35 and 32. I'm sorry. Yeah. Very large difference. Yeah. Another thing I want to check. I know it's a different wing. I'm gonna go back to the border wing again, because it has some funky stuff on it. And I know it's an A wing and a B wing, but basics should be basics. So the detail on the border one is much heavier, much deeper, the lines. These are way deeper than these. Yeah. Now, these access panels are raised with some hinge detail, whereas these ones are flush with no hinge detail. I don't know which is accurate. Again, I've got to check some of my books. Yeah, all right. So that's basically it. So I'm going to give you a conclusion. Normally I don't give you conclusions on what I think about kits and that. Now, like I said before, I purchased this kit for, I think it was $40 Canadian. Is it worth $40? Where would you build it? If you're like me and you've got a bunch of other Spitfires in the stash and built already, where are you going to put this one? It's going to look a little odd in amongst some other Spitfires. It's been said to me, hey, well, how about if you're building a diorama, maybe you have it crashed, you want to have 35th scale figures or Jeep around it. Yeah, I can see that. I think there's some issues with this. One thing I don't like is you got one marking option, okay? And there's no aftermarket 35th scale Spitfire stuff out, at least not right now for Mark 5B, right? So basically, unless you're gonna mask your own roundels, because these decals are absolutely unusable, you're gonna mask your own markings, then you're pretty much stuck with crappy markings. The fact that you can't pose it, or not supposed to pose it, with the canopy open and the access door open, that's problematic for me. It's especially a kit this size. The engine, I don't know how it does. There's some, how do I say this? I don't want to poo-poo the engine. The engine could be quite nice when it's put together. However, there are some square edges that don't look right to what I'm used to looking at a Merlin. And the whole canopy, not canopy, the cowling frame is super heavy. So that, to my mind, if you're fitting the Merlin in there, that means the Merlin has to be undersized to make it fit. It's not going to look right with having those cowl parts off with such heavy parts holding it on. It's going to look like a 72nd scale one. That's because they can't make it that fine. That kind of ratio between actual the size of the part and the size of the scale. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not a fan of 35th scale because it doesn't make sense to me when everything else in aircraft is 32. So again, if you're doing a diorama, maybe that's okay. This one again, you're gonna have to probably do some surgery to have the canopy open and the access hatch open. So, and how well the parts fit, well, that proof will come in the pudding when we put it together. But anyway, that is my review of the Border Models 1/35th scale Spitfire 5B. All right. Sorry I rambled on for quite a bit during that one, and yeah, that's it. So if you liked the video, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you built one of these, if you're a fan of the 35th scale aircraft, I can see helicopters, that's a different story. But these Border Models ones, let me know, okay? Let me know in the comments, what is your opinion on 35th versus 32? And go to the Fuzzy's Ghost web store and buy a shirt, buy a hat, buy a mug, support me, buy me a coffee, because you know I like my job. Anyway, thanks. Enough jibber jabber. We'll get back to you on the next one. Ciao for now.